Now, I know I've made a lot of stuff about the Bernina line, but I thought I would have one more shot before the thing releases on the 16th, or 17th in my case. So, we obviously had the pre release stream a few days ago, as well as like the full announcement and whatnot. And I wasn't impressed, and I think that is a common sentiment. And I thought I'd just make this video. I won't talk about stuff that I've already talked about. If you want to watch that stuff, go watch it. I'm just going to focus on new stuff that I haven't really talked about yet. And I wanted to go into more detail on a sort of, well, on an unscripted basis. So we're going to start off with the price. This has been a very large source of contention. Some people arguing for the price, some people very, well, in my opinion, rightly arguing against. I pulled up SteamDB. This has the regional pricing for the Steam version, and it's probably similar for most of the console versions. At least the sort of the big ones, which well, float around this end, would be similar, and it is not cheap. I'm using Australian dollars because I'm Australian, but we've got, you know, all high 50s. That's not cheap. And you go back a few years, and the longest routes would be $45 Australian. And this is a route that has 22 kilometers, I think, if I remember correctly, of scenery, and I think about 35 kilometers of actual chainage. But like you could make a valley that's 22 kilometers long and just keep running the tracks backwards and forwards. That's not really what I'm getting at here. It's the scenery length. How much have they actually modeled? And they've also been assisted because it runs in a valley, right? So you only need to model the valley. Once you get outside that, you can just leave some sort of slightly scuffed textures because you can't really see there because you've got a mountain in the way. It's just so expensive. And I know people are going to say, oh, well, but it's an hour and 45 minutes of driving. I said, I don't care. It's an hour and 45 minutes of driving at 30 kilometers an hour. It only has really one significant piece of rolling stock. They didn't even add the Bernina line stock. They can't do the full length of the route. They didn't take it up to St. Moritz. The actual quality of the route isn't very good, I don't think. It's a damn sight better than a Rosa line, don't get me wrong, but it's not good by any means. And I'm genuinely unimpressed. I'll probably still get it whilst it's sitting at this 10% discount, but I have absolutely no intention of definitely keeping it. Like, if I play it and it's rubbish, I will refund it. It's just... That was my first thing. It's just so expensive, so ridiculous. And this is the 10% discount. Normally, it'd be $60 Australian, which is outrageous. It's just insane. I then wanted to have a look at the forums, because on the live stream, someone asked, how can you turn on the safety systems on console? And we now have a statement from Dovetail Games. The ability to activate the safety systems has not been implemented via the cab and only works using the keyboard. Due to this, any players on consoles will not be able to activate safety systems from the release of the Bernina line add-on. So if you're on console, you will not have any access to safety systems at all. I would much rather that the safety system was on by default, because it's not hard to use. Like, if it beeps at you, you press Q. Whatever the equivalent on console is. You acknowledge it. It's not hard. It's just as easy as AWS. It's not difficult. And it releases in what? What's the date today? It releases in 3 days. That should be enough time to remap something. But okay, it takes a while to push things through Steam, and it's a weekend, and blah, 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 blah. Okay, well, here's a thing. Delay the game. How did this not get pointed out earlier? How did it manage to wait until what, like less than a week before release for this pretty significant, not even a bug, just error, to come around. What is going on with the testing? Do they only have PC testers? Do they not have any console testers? Should this not be eye-opening? And why is Dovetail letting them publish it? Like, there's so many things that have gone wrong here. It's just stupid. I don't get this. And surely, right, you would put a sale on for console, right? They haven't talked any, they say, we apologise, blah, 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 far from ideal, blah, blah, blah. Proposed solutions, blah, 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 blah. Thank you for your patience. Why? Just delay the release. Delay the release. It doesn't matter. Or, even better, do the streams a few weeks before the thing actually releases. I'm sure the 12-year-olds will be able to get over the, oh, well, there's too much hype, I'm going to wet myself. Just hold on. If there are things that happen, like, okay, maybe this just slipped through the cracks and everyone forgot. Fine, if that happens once, that's fine, right? But you should have enough time in your programming, in your timetabling, in your scheduling, to fix stuff that arises. And it's just... And even if you can't, I think at a bare minimum, especially if you're giving a 10% discount to PC players, you give at least 15% discount. I mean, as I just said, they're not giving this route away. I mean, it's $60 for fuck's sake. You can bring it down to 50 odd, $10 off, in replace for, you know, the thing not working properly at launch. Very funny. And I thought, I won't go through this too much, but there's just a lot of stuff here. Like, why was this section chosen? Me, lots of opportunity to focus. Because, you know, a lot of people were pointing out that why didn't this go from Pontresina or St. Moritz, which are the bigger places, the more interesting hubs. Like, okay, well, we've got a border crossing, but it's a Schengen border crossing, so it's not a border crossing. It's just a line on a map. There's no line in real life. There's no shitty customs formalities. The train doesn't even stop. It just goes straight through. It's like the Austrian-German border. You blink and you miss it. This is not that impressive. Are there any future DLC? No, of course not. Why would there be? PIS doesn't work. The Allegro was properly thought, which would explain why it sounds shit. I mean, it doesn't sound bad, but it's you know, classic Rivet, dodgy sounds. Hopefully there'll be a sound pack come out for that for PC. Why was the observation coach included? And this question was asked a lot, because in real life, that particular observation coach is banned from operating on the Bernina line. And they go, oh, well, we just wanted to make it accessible for people who own this, which is code for, we want to add extra content that's not realistic so people will buy more of our products and we get more money. You might as well throw the 150 on here. Throw an SD70 on there. Oh, well, it's extra content for people who own... Blah, 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 blah. Bullshit. Why was dynamic snow? You would have thought on the highest railway in Europe, running straight through the middle of the Alps, you would have included the feature that simulates snow buildup. Right? Snow buildup, of all things. You would have that. But no, there is no snow buildup. And you can see that. If I pull up the screenshots, you can see that the grass comes through. You know, this looks like Australia, just next to the track. And they claim the reason for this is because, oh Christ. We want to maintain the snow visuals of the mountain scenery in the style they wanted to achieve. No! What bullshit! Or find out a way that you can keep the mountains from accumulating snow whilst having snow build up on the side of the tracks, right? If I pull up an actual image of the route, you can't see grass, right? You can't even see the foundations of the stanchions. And you can't really see the rocks on the mountains either, because shock horror, they're covered in snow. Like, it's stupid. Goodness me. And that brings me on to the other thing, is the scenery, because it's not really fantastic either. Like, this is the release stream. I won't play any of it because I don't want to enter the world of copyright, but I'll pick scenes out. I mean, I picked this one because it's got the Allegra, and everything's just so blown out. You can hardly see the mountain on the other side. But the grass is so green, so green. I'll try and find some grass. I think I should have some grass. Here, real life. The grass is not green, right? The trees are more yellow than they are green. But no, in-game, everything is lush green. And I said in previous videos, the trees look hideous, absolutely hideous. The way the shadows work on them, or the way the shadows don't work on them, is ridiculous. Also, if we have a look at the actual track here, we've got V-sleepers coming through the curve. We've got snow build up. Look at that. That's really, whew, that's revolutionary. We've got a little bit of scree in the places, but I mean, there's some scree here, but it's not, I mean, it's baked into the landscape. I can't really complain about that. But here, everything's flat, except the sleepers are all concrete and they're all normal. There's no change to them. The ballast is all the same color. And if we just come back to this is the dirt and this is the ballast. It's a very clear distinction, and the ballast is sort of more dark, but no, everything's uniform. Everything is the same. And there, we can have a look at other places, and like, the inside of the tunnels aren't particularly inspiring. I mean, I do like the touch of having a little bit of light come through the galleries, but also if you have a look at tunnels, almost all of these tunnels were drill and blast tunnels. Can I have a look there? But here they're all stone line. I mean, big deal, right? That's me being nitpicky. You can't really read the gauges when you're in a tunnel as well. That's a drawback. And as well, TSW4 just makes everything super foggy, like volumetric fog. Well, sure, but don't go overkill. I mean, it's a bit ridiculous. And they were talking about like the tree line at the very beginning. So we'll have a look at the very beginning. This is what they've represented. And it looks like plasticine. It doesn't look like grass. I mean, I'll open a picture of this. I should have done this before. Auspizio Bernina. We'll have a look at some photos. Here we go. And look at the colour of this grass. Is, is scattered in little rocks. The ocean, the lake is, look at that. It's glacial water. It should be really light blue, a really pretty blue. You should have grass popping, like very thick grass, wild grass, and a much yellower colour to it, as I mentioned on the forums. But of course, in here we've just got the same sort of. You might occasionally get a tuft, as if it's a meadow, and the lake. If we come back, the lake, which they very proudly advertised, freezes in winter. The lake is just any other lake texture. They could have gone. So the claimed reason for pulling this route back at Auspizio was we can focus more on the scenery. Where's the evidence of that, Rivet? Where's the evidence? Like, you've done the LiDAR, and that's fantastic. The LiDAR looks amazing, but everything else looks awful. And I wanted to go back to the route stuff as well, the length in particular, because this is 10 kilometers down here on the scale, and this is the route. You can see what I mean, that a lot of the route doubles back on itself, like this around Cadera and Alp Groom. And there's obviously the spiral at Bruzio. It's not long, right? It's not a long route, and it would not have been too difficult to send it up to St. Moritz, up here, which is, as you can see, a much more important station, or Pontresina, which is the connection point with the lines up to the Engadine and back up to Kur. It's just baffles me why. And also, if you're going to do half the route, you would do St. Moritz to, I don't know, Ospizio, Cavaglia or something. It's just... Oh, not Cadera. I don't know where that came from. Is that even on this route? No. Oh, it is, yeah. Sorry. I was right. See, look at me. I don't know. I'm just frustrated, and people say, "Oh, well, if you don't like it, don't buy it." It's like, that's not the point here, right? In fact, I might not. Right? I might not actually pay for it. I might refund it. But it's just, I would love to enjoy this route. I just don't think I can, and it is from the same reasons that I dislike Train Sim Mod 4. It's just laziness, constant laziness, and it's destroying the platform. I was genuinely excited about this route. I thought I would keep an open mind. I would put all of the shit that Rivet has done before away just until we got some good screenshots. And slowly the screenshots came in. I wasn't super impressed, and now we've got the stream, and I am disappointed. And I just wanted to finish off looking again at the comparison between the screenshots and real life. So we come back. This is just below where I say Alpgrum, I think, and they talked about the gauntlet track and whatever, and I've already talked about this, but this is what that same area looks like in real life. Obviously, forests look like forests, snow looks like snow, there is actual snow build-up, it looks like winter, it looks like an Alp, obviously, because this is winter on an Alp. And here we have what looks like one snow day in an otherwise very warm country with some big mountains in the background that actually look like an Alp, right? The background with no trees on it looks amazing, looks fantastic, but everything else looks rubbish. I can't get over seeing grass in the middle of winter on the Alps. Here I've already talked about this. Like, look at the difference. And I know they're in slightly different seasons, but just... everything apart from where the tracks are is bad. It's just hideous. Likewise, here we've got Tirano, and I've already talked about this a little bit, so I'll keep it brief. That hill should be completely forested over, right? And the building on the hill is in the wrong place. The road doesn't feel like a road, it just feels like, I don't know, a sad car park. And everything's washed out. Everything's too green and too red and too white. Like, you look at the photo, it's cream coloured, and the road is dark, and the trees are sort of yellowy green, you know, tree colour. And the sky is a much deeper blue, but it's... and this is Tirano. We've got the same kind of washed out feeling, and this is Tirano in real life. Like, the trees are completely forested. That hill is covered in trees. You can't see the ground, and here we've got no trees at all in the hill in the top left. Likewise, this also at Alpgrum. You look across and you see some very dodgy looking forests and grass popping up. And in real life, you would either not be able to see the snow, or you would just see the snow. And you would not be seeing grass in winter. That would be the last thing to come exposed, especially when the tracks are almost covered up to railhead. It's ridiculous. It's stupid. The physics I can't comment on because I don't know them. I will wait for someone else to, and then parrot what they say. The sounds sounded dodgy, not awful, not hideous, but not correct. But I mean, most of the systems on the train were simulated well, and ZS at least works once you turn it on. One thing that I did look at was that Dovetail are investigating the feasibility of taking one of the otherwise unsimulated buttons and linking it up to ZS. I was like, why? Just and I was thinking you could add a button in the pause menu that, for everything, that just is the equivalent of Shift Enter or Control Enter. that you just press and it works, right? You could have compensated people. You could just have the thing on by default like it is on Arosaline. There's about a million ways they could have done this better than how they have, but whatever. I hope I haven't been too boring. I'm sure you'll all let me know if I have. Thank you so much for watching my rant. I look forward still to trying this route out for myself, because I still want to see just how good or bad the route is from a purely objective metric. I will, of course, put that out as a review. And yeah, that's it. I'll see you all next time. Have a fantastic day, and goodbye.